Welcome to Onondaga Lake Visitor Center. Today I'm going to talk about bird adaptations. So Onondaga Lake in 2015 was identified as an important birding area. The reason for that being that now that the lake is clean, the birds love living here. There's a fresh source of food and fresh water. So it's a great place for over 160 different species of birds. So when we talk about adaptations, we look at what features help them to feed and live in their habitat. So I'd like to concentrate on two specific things, and that is their beaks and their feet, and a little bit about their wingspan, I guess. So we'll identify each bird adaptation first, and then we'll try to match it up with a bird on the right side of my board. So if we're looking at a long, thin beak, the purpose of a long, thin beak is for those birds that like to probe into the water to find insects and small fish. So I've got the great blue heron with that very long, thin beak. I also have the ring-billed gull, and he's again one that can fly around and find fish in the water with his long, thin beak. If we have more of a pointy beak, it'd be more likely that this particular bird would be probing into the bark of trees to find insects. Most people right off the bat are going to recognize the downy woodpecker is finding insects in the bark of a tree. What about a short, stout beak? The short, stout beak of a bird is to crack into seeds and nuts for food. So we have the tree swallows that like to inhabit the little birdhouses right outside our visitor center here, as well as the black-capped chickadee. Either of those have tiny beaks, real sharp, pointy, and stout. Suppose we look at a curved beak. Now, curved beaks are for those birds of prey. So that curved beak allows that bird to tear into the flesh of meat of an organism, its prey. The most famous bird on my board is the bald eagle. And obviously we all recognize he's got a curved beak. You might not have ever seen, but we have them flying around here frequently, is the red-tailed hawk. He, again, a smaller bird of prey, but has that curved beak for tearing into the tissue of its prey. So let's look at the feet for a few minutes. Webbed feet, obviously for those organisms we call ducks, but I also have one other one. The webbed feet is kind of like a toe with a flap of skin in between. So that allows that duck to be able to paddle through the water a little bit more efficiently. Now, when you go swimming, you don't hold your hand open like this, you kind of close it so that you have that paddle-like motion. So both the ducks, and we have a wood duck here, and a mallard duck. We have a lot of ducks at Onondaga Lake, as well as the geese. Geese have webbed feet as well. The long toes, for those like the great blue heron, allows them to walk and aid in walking on the mud and wading in that shallow water. He balances himself with those long, thin toes. The clawed toes for those birds of prey, like the hawk and the eagle, are so that he can grasp onto his food, not only while he's eating, but to actually capture them, and in the case of birds of prey, be able to carry them to another location to actually eat them. So frequently we might spot an eagle or a hawk or even a peregrine falcon, excuse me, grasping a fish right out of the lake and then flying overhead and then finding another spot to actually eat the fish. So those clawed toes, called talons, are for grasping onto their prey. If they have little grasping feet, little thin toes, these allow them to sit on the branches of a tree, roost, and then maybe just hang on until they can find a place for food. These grasping feet might have, or birds rather, might have 2 toes in the front or 2 in the back, maybe 3 in the front, 1 in the back. Our tree swallows like to live right outside in our nesting boxes, and also our black-capped chickadee. The powerful leg muscles are important for those birds of prey. They are big at soaring, so they're not doing a lot of flapping around. They have very large wingspans and very powerful legs, both to carry their prey and to actually soar through the air. The long, slender legs, again, only in the one bird that I see here, my great blue heron, has he that ability to be able to wade into the water because he's got these long, thin legs. I don't have on my board, but one of my other favorite birds that you might find on Onondaga Lake or in the wetlands surrounding is the egret. So if you're in and around Onondaga Lake, I hope you'll see some of our famous birds that inhabit Onondaga Lake.